Hi, and welcome to COS Interviews. My name is Maren. I'm the marketing manager at COS Systems. And today I want to introduce you to one of our customers, Cherry Capital Communications, and Tim. Tim, please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about Cherry Capital.
Yeah, well, my name is Tim Malone, and I started a ISP, now a telephone company, back in 2000. And we focus Cherry Capital focuses on the rural and remote areas of northern Michigan where typical providers weren't doing work.
So that's you, and you're applying an open access approach, right?
Yes. Yeah, we felt as we began to accept federal money was the catalyst. We thought open access was the way to go as a means of giving back to a community. Our goal was also to help smaller WISP transition to fiber. If they didn't have the capital, they could participate as an ISP. It gave them an option because there was a lot of overbuilding going on. And as we got to better understand open access through COS, we understood that it actually could result, and we're building on that, into a better return on investment because of the specialization that's part of open access. So we're on a learning curve, like everybody else, step by step, but the path has been really good.
Sounds great. So I happen to know that you're also working together with a tribe. And as we all know, tribal communities often face unique challenges like funding constraints, geographical barriers, and much more. How does Cherry Capital Communications work with tribe?
So the tribe won a Reconnect 3 and 4, a significant amount of dollars to build 100 miles of fiber connecting their tribal communities in the Upper Peninsula. And they realized that they needed a partner who understood the operational aspect of fiber and running an ISP. And so through a selection process, they picked Cherry Capital as partner. And it was really based on, most of the process was not technical. It was finding a cultural understanding of each other. And much of the tribal community is consistent with the Malone family and our culture, even though we're not tribal. And the open access specifically was something that was very exciting to the Sioux tribe. So yeah, the whole thing is just like any human to human contact. It's building relationships.
Yeah, I think it's the basis for almost everything, right?
Yep.
Can you dive a little bit deeper into how you are working with the tribe? So how did you involve the tribal government and its leaders in the decision-making and implementation process to ensure that the broadband solution you're offering aligns with their community goals and values?
Yeah, so the first step was getting the Sioux tribe to understand it was possible what they were trying to do. So many of their interviews over a 2-year period kind of implied that because they're tribal as a single factor, they were going to fail. And that's where that realization that with the right partner, there's no reason why the Sioux tribe can't do what they wanted to do. And so in our first couple of conversations, we started describing that if it was our money and we were going to do it ourselves, this is how we would approach installing and creating a network for them. And that matched each of their bullet points. One of the struggles with any new relationship, tribal or otherwise, is getting that customer to open up. And they're usually very reserved. And so we took an approach of just, it's our win. We're going to build this and see if we can match our philosophy with their philosophy. And many of the points, which is they're very community orientated. They have a very small bit of tribal land, so they are very integrated in the greater 7-county community of the UP. About 38% of the population in those 7 counties are tribal members. So typical other tribes in Michigan, have significant tribal lands, whereas the Sioux tribe doesn't. And so it is a great philosophy to be a service provider. It meets their needs for enhancing their housing, for enhancing their medical services, and broadband. From the Sioux tribe perspective, is that integral piece that allows all those pieces to come together and flourish. Open access being a great part of that, because they want other services to easily get to their members. And anybody within the UP service area, they consider us, they want a service, not just their members. So
sounds fantastic, and it sounds like you've had a great impact on that community.
Yeah, it's been a year-long relationship. We have a long ways to go of a 10-year journey, and we learn every day from each other. But there is a strong trust that has been developed with the broadband committee. It's 4 members of the Sioux tribe, and the board of directors, which is a 10-member board that represents all 7 counties. They're building a trust relationship with Cherry Capital. So it's a slow, steady process, but it is a unique government, separate from the United States. But yet they're very much, even though they're citizens of their tribe, but they're also citizens of the United States. So it's an interesting blend, trying to align the USDA with the tribe and us. But so far it's moving along just fine.
Sounds fantastic. So it sounds like gaining the Sioux tribe's trust was one of the biggest challenges.
Absolutely. From our perspective, they weren't getting that from other providers. As human beings, we all just want to be part of something, and the partnership is developing. Every day we get one more layer that makes the job a little bit easier and moves things a little bit faster.
Aside from that challenge, can you think of any other bigger challenges that stuck out when you were working with the tribe?
Yeah, I mean, one of our problems was that the project itself was stalled for 2.5 years, and the previous consultant that was working with them, we were unable to discover much of their research and what they had done up to that point. And so the first year was to how to get a 2.5-year stalled project to start moving forward. And we also had to kind of build trust with the USDA because the idea of a non-member organization, Cherry Capital, working with a tribal member is unique even to the USDA. So the other challenge was getting the trust of the USDA that we knew what we were doing, that we had the best interest of the Sioux tribe at heart, and that we would meet all the USDA requirements to it. And I think we're finally to that point where actual construction is going to start shortly. So that foundation had to be laid first. So
yeah. Do you have any specific recommendations for other operators or ISP who are interested in working with tribal communities?
Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
That is, but that's, I mean, we look at, the tribe is a unique government, but they have cultural preferences, but they are businessmen. They want a sustainable model. They want good quality service. And so my recommendation would be is treat them just like any other customer you've got, any other enterprise. We don't look at them as a tribe, other than Sioux tribe is what we put on the form. But they're just a client that we built a relationship with, just like we've done with counties and other enterprise organizations. So yeah, treat everybody the same. Don't treat them as if they're tribe or something different. And I would say that's across the board with dealing with anybody.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a reasonable approach for everybody. Okay, so you've been working with us for quite a while. How long have you been using COS Business Engine?
Yeah, so we're about the last year. We signed the contract, I think, the last day of last year, and we've had a lot of. We found in working with COS and aligning our particular system of storing data required us a little bit of work to clean up our database to align with how COS does it. So, I mean, a simple example, a customer and an address are one record with us, but with COS, a customer and a location are two different records. And so we had to start thinking a little differently. And it's been healthy. COS has areas, and we found as we were producing these areas of interest that we really needed to integrate that in all of our design work and our flow of what priority was set to what area and what were the interdependencies. So COS in itself is a great foundation. We had to reorganize the company a little bit to take full advantage of all the pieces of COS. And we're early into fiber. We've only been doing it for 5 years. We don't have a large customer base, but we had to integrate things to make that relationship between Cherry Capital and COS work well. And we're ready to implement full production, hopefully by the 1st of 2025. In January, we should be deploying. Right now, we're just in survey, but Business Engine should be fully implemented by the end of January 2025. So slow, steady progress, but we've been happy with the results.
Yeah, sounds great. And I'm glad to hear that your efforts were worth your time. So you've already covered a little bit how you're using our software. Do you have any specific tools or features that you really like and that make your operations easier?
Yeah, it's one, COS is adaptable. So they've been very easy to work with as we move from one platform to another platform. We embraced AdTran as a technology. We have legacy Sienna and Radisys. And one thing nice about working with COS is they're willing to and capable of integrating various technologies. So they're technology neutral. Even if they don't have an interface, they've worked with us on getting that established. And that, you don't want to do truck rolls. You don't want to have to remove everything just to bring another piece of software in. So, from that standpoint, that's the real value of COS. The feature that everybody really likes as we implement is managing that connection to the home. We have a system in place for managing building that middle mile, but having a flow that communicates with the customer that we're going to have crews on site and that we need to have an appointment to get into your home. Those dependencies, working with contractors and in-house staff, that's the most exciting feature that we're ready to implement fully. We think that will speed up our time to delivery and allow us to increase the number of customers we connect per month.
Fingers crossed. So based on everything you just said, why do you think people should be working with COS?
COS, I think, we looked at a couple other platforms, but we think COS has a great history. I watched COS for the last 6 or 7 years as they rolled out various products. And last year, you restructured some of your software licensing in order to make it more attractive to get into open access. So the ability that COS modifies their business model and listens to the customer makes you a great partner. Rather than just providing a product, you're part of our organization's success. And that's why, you know, from a COS standpoint, that's why I would recommend you very much so.
Well, Tim, thank you so much for your kind words and for your time. I wish you all the best luck for everything you're doing and for your mission.
Well, thank you. And
Goodbye.
I appreciate the opportunity to share.